This is not non-profit for good. This class is not CSR for good. It's business for good. Non-profits are great. CSR is great. But it's business for good. So eventually you'll make it into a business, which means it has to have a profit. But do not worry about the fact that you need to find a solution, a product, or make it into a business right now. It will happen. Just focus on the problem. Don't think ahead. We'll tell you and we'll work with you on the thinking ahead. Right now, you don't need to. All right? And then finally, you have triple bottom line and an investment ask and so on. The other thing I want to tell you is you're a startup. You can't be building hospitals and building roads and schools and all of that, folks. That's all government or large companies, they do it, right? You can't build infrastructure. You can't say, oh, I'm going to be an advocate for this. I'm going to raise funding. No, you're a startup. You got to make money. You got to sell a good product. And it has to work out in the marketplace with customers, right? So that leads me to the third point, which is that narrower is better. Being more specific is better. Don't say this for entire Africa. Make it a country, make it maybe a rural part or an urban part and so on. And we'll work on that today as well. Specific is better, narrow is better. If it's narrower, the project, you'll go deeper, you'll learn more, and within the project and the time you have, it'll be more fruitful as well. So that's what we have about the project itself, all right? So right now, do not think solution, do not think what you can do not think how you'll implement, how you'll communicate, all of that. Just focus on understanding the need fully, all right? And to do that, we have a variety of different, content to immerse you in. And for us, this whole approach, given that I thought, oh gosh, even the words I use, I take for granted. I take everything for granted. I came up with this bottom-up approach with a variety of different means to understand people. And we produced a lot of content over the last 20 years, 360 video and day-in-the-life video, and you have all of that available to you. And image-based immersion. What do I mean by bottom-up? I mean, let the stimuli come to you. Just immerse yourself in that context. Rather than looking at what somebody else has already done, just be in that environment, let the stimuli come to you. And if there's nothing else you take away from this course, I truly believe you'll take away this bottom-up approach. We've worked with companies, we've worked a lot of different entities, okay? So that's what we mean by bottom-up. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to play a few slides. And what I want you to do is on a sheet of paper, again, this is just for yourself. I'd like you to do is put down any reactions you have. And Noriko, I think we can dim a little bit, maybe dim the lights a little bit. So I want you to put down any intuition, any reactions you have. They mean a lot. You may look at it and come up with an intuition that nobody else has. That's part of being bottom-up, okay? And I also want you to put down anything else you feel that relates to your project itself, okay? All right? So take a sheet of paper, put down your thoughts, and we'll go from there, okay? So I'm just going to play some immersion, exercise, okay? I've told you several times. Avoid side conversations, okay? Oh, yeah. Thank you. No problem. Folks, this is individual work, okay? Sorry, I should have mentioned, this is individual work. So it's not group work, just jot down your notes on your own and then you'll take it to your group, okay? Thank you. Okay, folks, just think about it, jot down some thoughts, either your intuitions or something related to your project in what you saw, okay? Just for yourself, please do it individually. Just your thoughts, okay? And that'll help you with the next part. And let's now go to Africa, and we're just going to look at cooking in a hut, okay? Okay. The next thing I want you to do is, again, please do it individually. The idea is then you can take it to your group independently. So next thing I want you to do is what we call need deconstruction. So we do a lot of things to try to create this bottom-up approach and immerse you in context. Sometimes I've given people interviews to read and write a first-person account and so on. So what we want you to do is we want you to lay out the need for your customer for your project. And let me give you an example. This is one of these year-long projects we worked on where people with a variety of disabilities and then the need for prosthetics. And so when I put that group in this position and said, okay, think about being in that position, what's the need you have, and then try to break it up. I need to survive, most important. Not only am I poor, but I have this disability, I need to survive, right? And that breaks up into I need to feel comfortable in social settings, because it can be devastating for people. They can be treated so badly, disrespected and teased and so on. I need to provide for my family. No matter what, I still have to get shelter and food and all of that, and for my family as well. And I need to be content with myself. In the end, we need that, right? Who we are, right? Self-esteem. I need to be content with myself. That breaks down into I need an inconspicuous arm. I need to maintain a job. I need to be prepared for the future. And then I need to be capable of doing many things. Okay? So, so that's what I want you to do. I want you to think about your project, your customer, okay? And then I want you to think about the primary way you'll describe the need. So draw it on a piece of paper and then break it up at several levels. See if you can go to level 2 and maybe level 3. All right? Is that clear, folks? I'll give you a couple of minutes of silence. Please go ahead and do that. Thank you. Okay, folks. So what you're going to do next is basically work on the part, I think that's very critical, which is what is the need, the driver's context, what's the customer, the geography, usage, situation. You really need to finalize it, in my opinion, in class now, because you have less than 1.5 weeks for the deliverable where you put the entire slide deck together, right? And so these are the things needed. It's not just enough to say, here's the need we are focusing on. What causes that need? What are the drivers of that need? All right? Why is that need so stark? Lack of drinking water, why? And then the larger context are really things, like political instability or climate change or lack of infrastructure, very broad aspects of the setting itself. In many ways, it's the larger context which leads to the drivers and then the need being so stark. Remember, we are not talking solution at all, okay? And then you need to put down the geography, the customer, the usage situation. Is it in, let's say it's nutrition. Is it during nutrition for children? Is it during school? Is it at home, right? So in what usage situation? Similarly, what's the geography? Be specific, be narrow. Narrow is better. Narrow means you go deeper. Don't pick an entire continent, please. Pick a country, you could even pick urban or rural or something like that, okay? And then who's your customer? You can pick any project you want within the broad umbrella topic, right? You can pick any project you want. If it's education, it could be primary school children, it could be women, it could be anybody, right? So you decide all of those things. So just to give you an example, need is for water, for drinking, or nutrition in schools, or post-harvest loss prevention. Customers, could be any of these. Geography, and then usage situation. So if the need is water for drinking, what are the drivers? Why is that need so stark? Lack of clean water sources, that's a driver. Lack of income to buy water, that's a driver, right? Contamination of water due to lack of sanitation or something, that's a driver. And what's the larger context? Sometimes climate change can be a context for lack of water, right? Lack of, government water infrastructure, that's a large context element, right? So context is those very broad things, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to go up to the wall, listen to all the thinking of your group members, and we need to see a map like this, and we need to see all of this listed as well. Any questions on what you need to do? And I'll make sure and come and see all the groups in Ron's class, and Andrea will take care of her class. So any questions? Again, this is a great opportunity to get started, get focused, folks, okay? So you know where your sheets are, they are numbered, and there are, you have pens right there as well, okay?